sponsor of our Whitful's Wednesday Reports, Baum Chevrolet Buick, where you'll find the official truck of our planting reports, the 2025 Chevy Silverado, along with Peterson Insurance, AAK Mechanical, and Longview Community Bank, all in Clinton. Maroa Ag north of Maroa, the State Bank of Bement, in Bement, and Monticello. Hennings Equipment Company near Assumption, Jenner Precision at Fairbury, and the McLean County Farm Bureau.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. On the Zoom with us today, Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. Mr. Mayor, good to see you once again. How are you, sir?
Good to see you as well. Doing great. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. Beautiful day to start the morning in Lincoln, it looks like. And a perfect day, hopefully, shaping up for. And I see it on your tee there today. For the Third Fridays in Lincoln. Let's start there, Mr. Mayor. Tell us about Third Fridays and the kickoff event of the season.
Yeah, it's our yearly series we do. It's a community event. It's free to the community to come out and partake. Usually there's bouncy houses, an art market, live music. We've got like almost 50 vendors this time. So it's really a cool event that we're able to do for the community every year. There's a committee that works really hard to make that happen. And the theme this month is Kicks on Route 66. So we're trying to really play up the Route 66 thing and leverage that. But next month will be Nashville Nights. And then I think the month that follows is Shark Week, because it's a water event usually. So yeah, that's our plan for the year.
What are Third Fridays? Tell folks that may not be familiar with Third Fridays in Lincoln. By the way, do you have to be a Lincoln resident to participate? What is this all about?
No, you don't. We invite anybody to come to town, near or far, if you'd like to. It's really just meant to be a fun event for the community. It started out as bring the family down on a Friday night. You can spend less than $20 and feed your family and have fun for a few hours and listen to some music and mingle with other people in the community or those that are visiting. And it's just really grown a lot from there. So it still holds true, though, that you can come down and have an affordable meal. You eat at one of our local restaurants downtown, or those vendors that are setting up, or there'll be some food trucks, I think, as well. And it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot going on in a 3-hour period. It's usually from 5:30 to 8:30. So we invite everybody to come down.
Very good. So check it out, Third Fridays. Where do folks learn about these events? I don't know if you put information on social media, Mr. Mayor, about what's going on for each of these Third Friday events, but where do folks go for that update and the information on what's going on?
Yeah, we have a Third Friday Facebook page that the committee runs, and we also try to cross promote with the City of Lincoln page. And we've done a little bit with tourism in the past. We got some changes going on with tourism right now. So I would say probably the Facebook page is the best place to get information about it.
Sounds good. Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch on the Zoom with us today. You referenced those changes to the tourism stuff. I know that has just had your head spinning lately, Mr. Mayor. Remind us what's going on there. I know we chatted about this in our last visit. Remind us what's going on there.
Yeah, so the City of Lincoln has decided that we want to go in a little bit of a different direction with our tourism program. And that program has been traditionally ran by what we call the Logan County Tourism Bureau down here. It's a nonprofit, and they've done a good job over the years. It's really just a decision to try something a little bit different. We've got Route 66, the Centennial, coming up next year. Got a lot of good ideas and things I think we could implement by having a little bit more control, at least over our aspect of the program. And so the council recently made a choice to, and it was not a unanimous decision, but they made a choice to hold the hotel motel tax funding that we do receive. And we typically transfer that over to the Bureau to operate. We're going to keep that money at the city. We're going to stand up a tourism department. And we actually have a contract for a potential consultant going on the agenda next week for a vote. And if we get the consultant in place, then we'll work through the next steps that come. And we got to get the budget lined out, and we got to figure out what that program is. I know he's got a lot of good ideas. So yeah, a lot of moving parts to get this going.
So what has kept you busy since our last visit, Mr. Mayor? What are you working on? What's been on the to-do list that you've been taking care of? What's your last few weeks been like looking at this and taking care of this?
Well, one of the things that I personally did was I went to Pontiac, and I had a conversation with their city manager, their tourism director, and some other members within their community. If you've not been to Pontiac, they run a phenomenal Route 66 tourism program and just tourism overall. And I really wanted to see what the possibilities could be. Part of the reason for doing that also is that the consultant that we're going to bring in used to be the mayor of Pontiac. He at least had a hand in their tourism program, and he has a really big hand in the success of Atlanta, Illinois, and their program there as well. And so, as far as I'm concerned, he is more of an expert than anybody that we have local. Not to discount people that are local, but he is the resident expert on tourism, and we'd like to leverage his knowledge and expertise. So been working with him. Some of the other things we've been working on is working through some of the details of what this change means to the Bureau itself, the existing Bureau. They do serve the outlying communities within the county, and there's a desire to maintain that support. So we're working with some county board members and the city, trying to figure out funding, how much funding it would take to keep that program going. So a lot of conversations, a lot of special board meetings with tourism to work through the details, stuff like that.
Gotcha. When you talk about meeting with him, what'd you take away? What were some of the things that you have picked up about what Pontiac's doing, Atlanta's doing, and how can you incorporate some of those things in Lincoln?
Yeah, I think you really got to go to Pontiac to get an understanding of what those possibilities could be. Now, down in Pontiac, or up in Pontiac, I should say, from here, they actually have a museum, and I think they call it their War Museum, but it's their old city hall building, and they've turned it into a pretty robust museum per se, but it's not just one specific thing. There's many things. And in that museum are pieces of Lincoln. Like when you walk in the door of that museum, there's an old piece of what we call the mill down here, which is one of our attractions. It's hanging on the wall. The tropics, the mill, just several things within our community are being highlighted there. And so what I really wanted to do is I want to get an understanding from them, how they're leveraging their hotel motel tax, how they're funding some of the attractions that they've got there, and then just kind of go from there. We took a walk around town, went into some of the more tourist related businesses that are in that community as well.
Mm-hmm.
Took a ride around on the trolley. That was kind of a cool experience they got going on up there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of things taken away from there, a lot of possibilities. We would be obviously different than Pontiac, just given our historical significance to Abraham Lincoln, our location, the attractions we have. But yeah, some different but similar.
I was going to say the proximity to obviously Lincoln is probably where you are trying to gravitate to in terms of what they are doing with 66 and how you can incorporate that with them. Now on the home front, Mr. Mayor, what has the response been like to this? Because I know I asked you, last month about just the way this all went down, and hurt. I'm sure there were some hurt feelings and things of that nature. That comes with a decision like this, because for people in the tourism world, that they, especially if they're leaders in that realm, they take these things very, very seriously. Tourism is very important to them. So what has the response been like from whether it's community residents, that leadership issue? What has that been like for you the last few weeks at navigating those things?
Well, obviously it's a tough decision to make to withhold the funding. And I will tell you that at the city, it was a split and I had to break the tie. I don't think anybody and I could be speaking, wrong here or out of turn, but I don't think anybody disagrees that trying something new is a good idea. I think that some people are more concerned about the pace at which we're going. And there were a number of factors involved that have accelerated the pace. The Centennial next year, we have absolutely nothing ready to go for the Centennial next year. And we have a very short window to get an awful lot done. So we don't have 3, 4, 5, 6 months to work through the details. I think we can work through the details as we're addressing some of that other stuff if we get the right people in place. And I think we are doing that. There was also some things going on by way of changes on the Tourism Bureau board themselves, and the departure of their CEO that they had. And so, not the fault of anybody, it's just the circumstances that we were dealt. And I felt that rather than, and I've been public about this, I've said it in meetings, is rather than go through a hiring process to bring somebody in to fill that position, perhaps it would be a good idea to go ahead and work through some of the other details. And that changed our timeline as well. They had Mr. McCoy, the consultant we're bringing in. They actually brought him into the Bureau to do an audit of the Bureau itself. And so it was a lot of things that went into that decision to move a little quicker. I know that there's people that would have liked to have moved a little slower, but quite honestly, it just is what it is.
Yeah. Well, and so to that end about bringing the right people in, speak to your process on that, because, I feel like just government taking things over in general is going to slow anything down. But speak to your thoughts on bringing the right people in and making sure you're ready for that Centennial next year. That's a big milestone and it's a short time away. And you mentioned not having a lot ready for it. Speak to that a little further, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I think it all starts, first of all, with the council having some vision and wanting to do something different. And we do. I trust that the council supports this, maybe some more than others, but I think we do. I think one of the big keys is this consultant that we're bringing in. His name's Scott McCoy. I've talked with Scott for years. Just about tourism in general. I've known Scott for a long time, and I've really liked some of the ideas that he's brought. He's got a lot of vision. He knows Route 66, and that's a lot of what we need to leverage. And so he's a pivotal piece of this. Now, there's been some discussion about, well, what happens if you bring the consultant in that we need to get this moving, and then he leaves or something happens?
Right.
My answer to that is, just like the Tourism Bureau, people leave jobs and changes happen. And I think if we can utilize our time with Mr. McCoy effectively, we can get a program stood up that we can then take the reins of and perhaps bring another person in at a later time if we ever have to, and still continue on with that program and vision. But we need somebody to help us build the foundation of this program, and I think he's the guy to help us do it. Gotcha.
Very good. Mr. Mayor, what did I miss in that conversation you want to put out there for us today?
Nothing. I think you hit on all the highlights.
Third Fridays in Lincoln. One more time, where do folks find information on that, Mr. Mayor?
The Third Fridays Downtown Lincoln Facebook page. The color scheme's just like the shirt.
Hey, very good. That is Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. We'll talk more with him coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Friday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network. A steady start for corn, beans slightly higher, wheat slightly lower. July corn opening 450 and a quarter, up 1 3/4. September corn down 3/4, 424 1/4. December new crop 437 3/4, down a penny. July beans starting the day up a nickel, 10.56 and a quarter. August beans up 4.5, 10.51 3/4. November new crop 10.39 3/4, up 4.5. July wheat 5.31 1/4, down 1.5. September wheat 5.44 3/4, down 1 3/4. December wheat down 2 pennies, 5.66 1/4. July bean meal $2.95.30, down to $1.10, and July bean oil $49.22, down 9 cents. Opening numbers on this Friday morning. I'm Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton and Farmer City. This is what we strive to do each and every day. We'll listen to you, give you the options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that is knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
Shane here from Highway 51 Exchange, just south of Clinton. Let us service your lawn and garden equipment for spring with our quick turnaround and service specials for free pickup and delivery. Click our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com for details.
Longview Community Bank provides real local ag lending. Vice President and Loan Officer Nate Sams here, asking you to find out the many ag lending products we can offer your farm by clicking our ad on the local news page of DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. Again, Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch joins us on the Zoom today. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Mr. Mayor, let's dive into 5th Street. What's the good word on 5th Street at this point?
Yeah, so last year, toward the end of the year and early on in 2025, I had made mention that we were still working on 5th Street. We were close. The city of Lincoln, we've got all of our paperwork done. As you mentioned in the last segment, government doesn't always move at a rapid pace. And so we're working with the railroad, Union Pacific, on a few things, and got some good news this week that Union Pacific is moving forward with approvals for our project. So got to let that paperwork work its way through, and then we'll get on the IDOT schedule. We keep pushing this down the road as we work through these. Hopefully we're looking at August now on this one.
Okay.
But the good news is things are moving, and we're still in constant communication with them about this project.
What's the outlook of what that's going to be then, the scope of the project?
Well, if you're familiar with that corridor, it's going to be a complete resurface. There's also some drainage that we're working on. I don't know that we're necessarily widening the road out like we had liked to in the beginning, simply due to costs. But it'll be a long overdue new road that is much needed for that corridor for both the businesses and the residents that live out there.
I was in that area not long ago. It feels like the railroad tracks are a little less bumpy and crazy, I guess, than they were. What has work been done there on that side of the railroad side of things?
I don't know necessarily that the railroad has been doing a lot of work out there. I mean, they're constantly working on their crossings throughout the community and other communities as well. I mean, that road, it kind of gets little attention when it needs it. So some things have been done. Like one of the things that was going on out there that we worked on was some drainage for water that was impacting a community out there called Westminster. And so the city, we did I wouldn't say necessarily it's the longest of term, but it's a pretty good fix for some drainage issues. But we'll get a lot of that corrected with the project.
Gotcha. Very good. Anything else on that to put out there this morning?
No, nothing at this time.
Sure. Well, I know you've been busy, Mr. Mayor. Ribbon cuttings, a lot of things happening for you in the mayor's chair. What's been going on in Lincoln, just kind of at a more micro level, I guess?
Yeah, ribbon. The weather gets nicer, and we start doing ribbon cuts and things like that. And so, been doing ribbon cuts. Did one for a downtown business, an overstock market. They are pretty excited. We're excited for them. This coming Saturday, there's just an awful lot jammed into this Saturday. So the LMH market, the fresh market that they have out there at the fairgrounds, they're doing a ribbon cut, and it's their 10-year anniversary out there. So the local 3092 firefighters, they've got a 5K that they've organized to raise money for their bereavement fund, which is a great cause. Coffee with the mayor is on that particular day. So there's a ribbon cut actually for our mural as well, the mural that we put up.
Okay.
The welcome park. So there's just a lot going on.
Where do folks keep up with it all, Mr. Mayor?
The best place for all this stuff going on is the City of Lincoln Facebook page right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch, our guest on the Zoom. Network News comes your way now.